Hi, this is James Eng with Old Capital, and we are here today with Ford.Braly of Marcus and Millichap to talk about Tribecca Pointe in Hurst, Texas. Welcome, Ford. I'll kick it over to you. Maybe give us a little intro about your background, and then we'll get into Tribecca Pointe.
Yeah, good morning, James. Appreciate you having me on. And as you said, my name is Ford.Braly, Vice President of Investments at Marcus Millichap in the Fort Worth office. I've been in the industry for 6 years immediately after graduating college, but been working with Al Silva and Silva Multifamily team from that time. And Al's been with the company 15, 16 years. Started out in Dallas, came over to Fort Worth, started the Fort Worth office, and we've maintained a very focused game plan of DFW, B, and C multifamily, and I feel like we've been pretty successful doing that. And that's kind of through partnering with companies such as Old Capital, and we really enjoy working with you guys.
All right, let's jump into this deal.
So we have Tribecca Pointe that we're going to be talking about today. It's over in Hurst, Texas, 175 units, and 15.5 million is the price. It's a 5.6 cap on T3 over T12 numbers. So we feel like that's actually above market cap rate. And some of the great points on this deal is starting out from day one. We should be seeing 9% plus returns based on the debt that Old Capital put in place that can be assumed with multiple years of IO. The seller has owned this property for over 3 years. He's put $2.6 million into it. The amenities are unmatched. It's got a pool, a very updated and modern office, a grill station with a veranda that the tenants love to use, and multiple laundry rooms as well. Great landscaping, and units have been upgraded to a very modern standard as well. With, updated lighting, two-tone paint, black appliances, updated cabinets. And there's still about 35 units left for the next owner to come in and pick up those premiums, which are ranging from kind of $100 to $150.
So jump in maybe to where this deal is located and why you like the location.
Sure. I think everyone's aware now of kind of the Hurst Bedford area and how well located it is, being 15 minutes from downtown Fort Worth, 10 or 15 minutes from the airport. This one's actually located 5 or 6 blocks off of 121 and 183. So it's got great access to large employment hubs, especially the airport, and a bunch of white collar and blue collar businesses directly off of 121 and 183. And the school district here is certainly the best in all of these areas. And if you look at this map, you can actually see you're 2 blocks away from an elementary school. The bus drops off kids from the middle school, so it really is a unique area.
Yeah, and I mean, you have we've completed a couple deals together. Bristol's a couple years ago was just under 100 units, right, just north of this property. They're all essentially full right now. Oasis Springs was just purchased last year. That's another transaction that we worked with you guys on, and I just got a text from those owners, and they're doing very well on that property. And so this property is very similar location. It's got good retail right around there, and then the school's very close, so it's perfect.
Right. Then here you can kind of see a little bit more of the property and just how nice it looks. You can kind of tell from looking at this, the rehab budget you're going to have to be bringing in is pretty minimal. Really, we just recommend fixing those or upgrading those leftover units, those 35 units, but there should be no deferred maintenance. You can see the clubhouse is very modern on the right side. Tenants love coming in there using the business center. Down here, you can see the kind of grill area, and then the updated pool as well, updated signage and landscaping. So it really is a unique product that's similar or really better than all the other B and C comps in this area.
All right, you touched on the capex. Maybe hit some of we laid out the capex here. Maybe hit on some of the larger ticket items that previous ownership has done already in the last since 2016.
Sure. So the property is a chiller property. All the mechanicals, chiller and boiler, were replaced in 2013. The chillers are very modern, very well taken care of carriers that are top of the market, top of the line. So they're working worked great. And then you look at all the exterior paint they did. They replaced a lot of the siding with hardy board. Redid the gutters, redid the fencings. They put cedar board patio fences on all the units, which the tenants love. All the units have big patio areas. And then inside the units, you can see they spent significant money as well, making those, achieve higher or better, look better than all the rest of the units in that submarket. So they've spent some serious cash on this thing, and it looks fantastic.
Great. And so you said they spent some money also on water savings the last 6 months or so?
Yeah, so they started in November, going through replacing toilets, shower heads, faucets with aerators. And so when you look at from November, or really October, right before they started, all the way through April, they've cut their water bill by 43%, or their usage per day by 43%, which is pretty incredible. And that's something that a new buyer's not going to have to spend money on. They're not going to have to spend six figures replacing all those, but they're going to enjoy the benefits right away.
Great. And what about the comps in the market compared to the subject?
Yeah, I mean, this is the true moneymaker on this deal. Of course, you're coming into good returns day one, 9%. That's tough to find. But when you look at the opportunity here, you can really see Valley Oaks right around the corner. It's a very, very similar property. Their rents on the one bedrooms are over $100 higher. The rents on the three bedrooms are $200 higher. You can look at 1233 Cavender, which is a similar chiller property a few blocks away. I'd say Tribecca Pointe's much better located. They're getting rents that are $200 higher on the ones, much higher to $115 higher on the twos and threes. So if you really look across the board, there's just clear rental upside here, and the units that you have and the amenities that you have are really equal or really better than all these other comps.
So how does that, essentially it's got to translate to the P&L somehow. So maybe walk us through sort of where the property is at currently in terms of income and expenses compared to what you guys are performing.
Sure. The property it's running well. It's being managed pretty well, but there's certainly some operational upside there. 5.6 cap going in the door day one is obviously nothing to sniff at, but the opportunity to make this a 7 cap plus is really there. And the areas that we see are certainly the rental upside that we just talked about. The loss to lease, that's something where it's over $1,000 a door per year. And just being more aggressive on renewals. And some of that's left up to the fact that it's been under rehab for the past few years, but shouldn't be anymore. And the opportunity to push your renewal rents, your current tenants to market, or spend a few more marketing dollars and go out and get the highest rents that you deserve in the submarket is there as well. Right. But when you look at vacancies in line with the rest of the submarket, and then as we talked about, those utilities going down from over $2,100 a door, which is really high, we should see those come down. And you may say, hey, they're rubbing the water back. Sure, your water rubs may go down a little bit. But when you think about how much more rent you can, get out of tenants if they're not having to pay you $100 a month or whatever it is in water, which is outrageous, there's real opportunity there.
Great. So essentially taking NOI from about 860, 870 up to 1.1 million with the increase in rents and decrease in utilities. Perfect. Anything else, I guess, before we jump into the financing options on this deal?
No, I kind of feel like we've covered certainly the highlights. Just really urge people when they look at the package to go look at the case studies that we do. And we put those in the first section of the package, and we compare, apples to apples floor plans with, Tribecca Pointe's got 800 square foot, one bedroom, and 1233 at Cavender has a 825 square foot, one bedroom, but our rents are $200 lower here at Tribecca Pointe. And so we break that down, and I think that's something I'd really recommend people go take a look at.
Okay, great. So as Ford mentioned, the deal is the price of the deal is $15.5 million, and that is based on the new buyer assuming the loan. So the current loan is 10.27, has about 4 years left of interest only. And then we are sizing to about a 1.35 supplemental. So total loan amount of 11.6 million, and that's right at 75% of the purchase price. And how we underwrote the deal, we essentially took net rental at T2, which was due to the increase that it's achieving month over month right now. Other income at T12, 3% management fee, 350 on G&A, 350 a unit on G&A, advertising, professional fees, payroll at 1,100 a unit, and then the water savings that we talked about, T3, due to the water savings being implemented. And then I think in the T12 of the R&M, once you get into the financials, there was some one-time capex in those numbers, so we went down to 800 a door on the R&M, insurance at 325 a door, and then taxes we brought up to 80% of the purchase price based on the loan assumption. So we're getting to about 11.6 total loan proceeds on the deal, which is right at 75%. And I think Ford mentioned the current loan already has a pretty low interest rate, 4.2%, 4.21, and so that's a great loan to assume. If you flip over to the other side and say, well, what if I wanted to take the deal new debt? The prepayment penalty on this deal is close to $2 million, so about 1.9 million. So anybody taking the deal new debt essentially needs to add 1.9 million to their purchase price. So 17.4 million would be your new purchase price, but your income would be essentially the same. You might get a slightly lower interest rate based on where the 10-year treasury is today if you qualified the deal for green. But because this deal is just recently went through water savings, you would have to qualify for green based on electric, and that might cost you significantly more than water savings. So just keep that in mind. I mean, base case, you'd probably be at a 12.3 million on non-green with the same loan assumptions, with the exception of taxes. So if you buy the deal for 17.4 million, then you're going to use a higher tax number and for underwriting. And so really you're having to pay on the new debt side, you're having to pay 1.9 million more, but you're only really getting about 700,000 more in loan proceeds and about the same interest rate. So I think majority of the people are going to look at this as a loan assumption with a supplemental if they need the additional leverage. And so those are the two options. I guess, Ford, what's the best way for people, if they have more interest in the deal, to reach out to you and learn more and maybe set up a tour?
Yeah, so my contact info is down there, and you can contact me or Al Silva. His number is 817-932-6134. So either of us would be able to hop on a phone call and spend time talking about the deal. We love talking about real estate, and happy to get people out there for tours anytime. We haven't set a call for offers date yet, but imagining it would be towards the end of June, maybe last week of June. So we're getting out there almost every day on tours and happy to continue that.
Great. Thanks a lot for joining.
All right. Thanks, James.